card. I've got here a piece of cinnamon cider cardstock. So the kits that my ladies received, this will already be cut down for them, but just from scratch, from an A4 piece of cardstock. I've got it portrait on my trimmer, and I'm cutting it in half vertically. So this is the short side that's across the top, and I'm cutting it at 10.5 centimeters. So you just need one of these pieces. Okay, so 10.5 centimeters, and then I'm going to make 2 score lines. So the first score line I'm going to do at 14.8 centimeters. So I've got the cutting blade at the top out the way, and I'm scoring with the low one. So 14.8, and then I'm going to open up my ruler, and I'm going to come across all the way to 27 centimeters. But before I score it, I'm actually going to flip the card over. So I've flipped the card over, it's at 27 centimeters, and I'm scoring again just up and down at this end. Okay, let me move that out of the way 1 second. Now then, in the kits that my ladies have received, they will have the panel, it won't have the score lines, but it will already have rounded corners, because I'm not sure if all of them have this punch. So this is the punch that does 3 things. It's great. It rounds corners, it makes a little hole, an oval hole, and then it makes a decorative corner as well. So it's a fabulous punch. It's a triple corner punch, or triple punch. I don't know about the hole, because you can use the hole anywhere on the project. Okay, so my ladies have already got a piece of card that looks like this, but it hasn't got score lines, it's just got rounded corners. So they're still going to need to put it in and score it at 14.8 and flip it over and score at 27. So those score lines, so where it's raised on the 14.8, I'm going to fold it so the raised part is inside. Grab my bone folder and just burnish there, and then it's raised at the shorter point, so I'm just going to fold that back on itself. Okay, so it looks like that. Okay, that's what you're aiming for. In the kit, in the package that my lady has received, they got a piece of this brick paper. So this is from the Bloom Where You Grow. I think I've got that name right. Let me just double check. Bloom Where You're Planted, sorry, Bloom Where You're Planted designer series paper. So they received a piece that was 10 centimeters across, and I did it at 6 inches. So what they're going to do is, it will be landscape, their 6-inch piece, and this measurement is 11.5 centimeters. Yeah, that's right. So it's 10 centimeters across the width, and the height is 11.5 centimeters. And this piece I am going to glue onto the front, so it's underneath that little flap that we've made. We've not done anything with that yet, so we're just positioning that with a nice equal border margin down either side and along that bottom edge. So that's the first piece. I put my glue a little bit too close to the edge there and it's splurged. But that's okay, we can fix that, not a problem. Okay, so that's the first piece of paper. The second piece that you're going to cut from the, so if you've got this and you've got a remnant now, you want a piece that measures 2.4 millimeters, and again it's 10 wide. Now I have already, when my ladies received this paper, it will be 10 centimeters by 6 inches, but 2 of the corners will already be rounded. So when they've cut this piece, you cut it from the bottom, and then you cut the 2.4 from the rounded end, and then that fits. And I'm gluing it flush to the top of the fold. So I've got this nice neat margin, but I'm gluing it flush to the top of the fold. So that goes on like that and like that. So the margin here should be the same as the margin on the piece underneath. And I've got it up to the fold. So that's the brick pattern just there. Then I'm going to open it. Now I just want to eyeball, pardon me, I'm losing my voice now. And I'm going to lay, I'm going to use my grid paper where it actually helped me. This point is where the pocket comes to. So up to that point is where I'm going to apply the glue. And I just want a really thin line. My glue won't work. There we go. A really thin line just up to there. And the same on the other side. A really thin line. And I think it came to there. A little bit further. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to close that up. So we're just gluing the outer edges to make the pocket. Okay, so that's what we're gluing. So we're in this position so far. Now in the kit, and the other supplies that you need are a piece of Cajun Craze and a piece of Whisper White. So we're going to cut the Cajun Craze. So I've given my ladies an A6 piece, which is 1/4 of an A4. You are going to cut this piece to 9 centimeters wide. So in your trimmer, you want to be portrait and cut 9 centimeters wide, rotate to landscape and cut at 14 centimeters. So that's 9. Let me just double check. 9 by 14. And then they're going to get the piece of white, and we're going to cut this at 8.5 centimeters by 13.5 centimeters. And this will glue within the Cajun Craze and leave a nice border all the way around. So I'm just going to glue that down. Okay, like this. Now the class that we've done here with my ladies, I haven't used stamps. I've left it as a choose your own sentiment class. So the ladies that have participated have chosen their own sentiments from their stash of stamps, and they would stamp the greeting on this point now. So I've got my Handsomely Suited set, and I just like this, a happy birthday to you. I thought this this actual design could be a little bit masculine, so I'm not oops a daisy, sorry. Grab a block. So I've got a block, and it's what have I used? I've used Cajun Craze and cinnamon cider. So I'm going to stamp it actually in cinnamon cider. So I'll ink that up. I'm just going to bring this a little bit lower so it's in my view. Now I'm not stamping the top inch. I'm going to stamp a little bit lower down. So that's a happy birthday to you. So that's okay. Pop that to one side. So that I'll leave just to one side to dry, and we'll come back to this. So from the Bloom Where You Planted papers, I've cut some items. Now this vase and this vase do have dies. If you get the stamps and the dies do fit. I've actually just fussy cut round them quickly. I've also fussy cut round this sort of grass, I suppose, if it's that colour. And then I've got a succulent, and then I've got one of the plants that's already in a pot. And this is what I'm going to use to decorate the front of this pocket. So I've got this plant first, and once I've fussy cut round it, I'm just going to glue and place this flat. So I've got that on there first. Then I've got this one. So I fussy cut it because it's actually, the straight edge there is from the bottom of the DSP. So this is just so that you can make the most out of as many items as you have. So what I'm going to do with this one is line it up with the bottom line of that brick paper, but I want that one raised, so I'm just going to, for now, position this last one, and this one's going to have the succulent in it, so I'm going to glue that just there. So again, a little bit of wet glue, and I'm just going to pop that there, and I'm going to, again, this is all flat, get the succulent, just tuck that a little bit inside, and that's there. And then I'm going to grab dimensionals, and I'm going to raise up this last little pot. So I've got some mini dimensionals here, so I'm just going to put 2 on here, take the backing off, and as I say, I'm placing it so it's in line with the bottom of the paper. There we go. And then the grass that I've got, I'm just curling down slightly with a bone folder, and behind the centre I'll put a couple more of the mini dimensionals. And then what I'm going to do here is slide this stem in the back, but try and keep the rest of it at the front like that. I'll pop that in place. There we go. So I've got 3 little pots sat at the bottom there. Looks very cute. And then, now the previous catalogue, the previous annual catalogue had the ribbon. It's like a grosgrainy type, maybe. It's a cotton twill, I think, actually. So this is the ribbon. I think I've given my ladies a piece that's 33 centimetres in length. So I'm just going to wrap around the back of my project so it's flat. And all I'm doing, to keep, again, the masculine, they don't necessarily want a bow. So I've just given enough to tie a knot. And this is just to keep this flap folded down. So I'm just laying my ribbon across, and then I'm just going to tie a knot on the front there, so that holds that in place. Then I've got my ribbon snips, and I'm just going to angle the ends, so I've got some nice sharp lines there. So that's that. And then my card would slot inside, because we only glued the very edges, if you recall. So that will slot right in there, ready to be pulled out. Okay, that's the card. Now what I did think is this is a great card, particularly, as I say, for a chap to receive. If he's a gardener, you could nip to your local garden centre and get a gift voucher perhaps. And there's a remnant, I've got a remnant from that 6" by 10 centimetre wide piece of paper of the brick. I've got this remnant. So what I figured I could do is on the back here, if I cut this remnant, let me just grab my trimmer. So this piece was 9 centimetres wide. I'm just going to trim this to 8.5. There we go. Whoops. And all I'm going to do, now I've not got my wallet up here with any credit cards in. You know, you get those credit card size gift cards. So I'm just going to put the strip, I'm only going to glue it this side and this side, so that you can slide either a voucher, even some money, note form, or one of those credit card type gift vouchers. So I'm just putting a tiny spot of glue on either side, and I'll pop that just across the back so that I'm able to slide in a credit card. I'm trying to think of if I've got anything that's about that size. oh, I know what's roughly that size. I've got a book of stamps here, so you get the idea. All you would then do is slide that in there, and then that, once you've written on it, would slide. If you just give your pocket a bit of a squeeze from either side, that will slide in beautifully. Okay, you can then, if you wish, put something here that's got a sentiment on also. But that's my finished little pocket card from the bloom Where You're Planted. Hi, it's Suze again. Just to ask, if you've enjoyed watching this video, would you please give me a thumbs up? It's just below. That way I can try and grow my YouTube channel and make even more videos for you to enjoy. Thanks so much. Cheers.